Marriage is one of the most significant relationships we have in our lives. It is a bond that requires constant effort, dedication, and commitment from both partners. However, building a strong marriage that stands the test of time is not an easy feat. What's up, guys? My name's Jeff. That really is my wife. It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. Let's get into it.
What year is it again?
All of that really is my wife.
Should I leave?
And we're going to roll an intro I haven't made yet, but hopefully it looks good.
Your voice changes when you do that.
Still married, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, how are you?
Just fabulous.
All right, I'm glad you're doing good. You pick a question, and I'm going to ask them a question that they can think about. This is, do you want to build a strong and lasting marriage? If so, stick around.
All right, I picked from the middle so they know we don't cheat. What is the biggest personal decision you had to make in your life?
I got married.
That's what I was thinking. I figured you would have thought Navy.
Personal. No, that. I didn't really think a lot about that one. That was more
Getting
about-
out.
I didn't. Oh, getting out of the Navy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my two. Getting out of the Navy and getting married, which were the same decision, really.
They were.
I got out and then a week later got married.
Other than getting married, why are you part of all of my big decisions? Letting you back in.
Oh, that means we have to talk about it. Oh my goodness.
I
I
did pick.
My most difficult personal decision right now is what jacket to wear on my next trip. And I have been like frustrated over this for like 3 days, right? It is 75 today at home.
And gorgeous.
And wonderful. I had lunch outside and it is going to be snowing and 7 degrees in Kansas City. And I don't know what jacket to wear.
You've tried on 7
They all
different
fit.
jackets.
I don't know which one to wear.
I understand.
Anyway, communication. So, marriage is a significant relationship in our lives, right? We would agree. We've been married for 18 years. And building a strong and lasting relationship requires effort and dedication. We talked about this earlier, right? Mm-hmm. I said as a joke, you don't need me, and you don't. But I think part of what makes this work is that we want to be here.
We choose every day.
Yep. Anyway, communication is the foundation of a successful marriage. It is essential to have an open, honest, and respectful communication with your partner. So what does that look like for you?
Open and honest?
Yeah. In the modern world, we'd call that raw. How do you have a raw communication?
I think some of the things that I mentally walk through is I try to make sure that I am not in a super emotional state. Because when things bother me, I get super emotional about things. Or if there's a situation that has come up where I am super emotional and I need to have that conversation with you, I need a few minutes. And when we first got married, he found out the hard way. To work through my emotions, I tend to clean, and it's not like a normal clean. I have a blue bucket, and so that is a indication for him that I'm going through the motions and trying to work through things. So I will deep clean the random stuff like the closet or, the baseboards or just random things. So for him, he learned that if he sees that blue bucket or if I'm really quiet, very withdrawn into myself, I am working through my emotions. And I had to tell him that I need a few minutes. I will come to you when I'm ready because I am not a pretty crier. I am an ugly crier and you know this. And I cannot properly communicate when I'm in that emotional moment. And so he's come to find this out about me. He'll check on me, and I will try and tell him and give him an indication of I am not ready to speak about this. But if it's something that he has done, because it happens every now and again where he does something that irritates me, I try and remove that emotion. I also try and make sure that we're in a space where there's not going to be a lot of distractions. So it's usually after the kids go to bed, in our house. So I'm not going to have a big conversation, a raw conversation like that in the middle of a restaurant. And then really helping him to understand that I need to have a good conversation with him so that you're also not distracted. So I'm not going to come to you in the middle of the Super Bowl or a football game or a NASCAR game or whatever that is, to make sure that you also have that mental ability to hold that conversation. Because also, if you're in the middle of a test or in the middle of doing something that's important to you, I want to make sure that you have that spatial awareness to hold that conversation.
Cool. That makes sense. I am with you. I went through this idea of like, what is communication? And like open and honest is one, but like active listening, which we've talked about before, like choosing to pay attention, being honest.
That's good.
Sweeping it under the rug doesn't work, right? Eventually you'll trip over it.
Facts.
And then consistency, right? Keep the conversation alive. Like date day, right?
Yeah.
Friday mornings for us, we go out and talk about life.
Yes.
Not necessarily anything specific, but we talk about life. Continuing through that whole process, trust has to be the cornerstone, right? You have to trust your spouse, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because everything else doesn't work, right? Nothing else works if you don't trust your other person, right?
Yeah, I saw something the other day on a reel or something that men do try to have conversation with women, but it was a parody. But the man was trying to talk to his wife, significant other, whatever it was, and she just completely tore him down, and that hurt my heart. And
Was it the rope guy?
I don't even remember. Because we talked about it. It was a couple weeks ago. But just the fact that, so many women are begging their significant other to open up and have that raw and open conversation, that we need to make sure that we're also in a place to reciprocate that, because I want you to know that I'm your safe space just as much as I know that you are my safe space. And if you're going through it and you're just needing that comfort and you don't feel safe enough to have that conversation with me, that says something about me. And so it just broke my heart that men feel like they can't be their true authentic self, but women expect that same courtesy for them. So
Sure. Yes.
It's a little deeper than you thought.
It is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hadn't, because we try really hard to talk regularly.
Correct.
About everything, right? I mean, some stuff, like, there's things that need to wait till the kids go to bed, right?
Of course.
Obviously. But genuinely every day, by the end of the day, we've said it all. And,
Oh, yeah.
But we also, like, we don't argue or fight or have the beyond passionate discussions that we hear about, right? Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, we've built our trust brick by brick to know that when we come to a discussion, it's not me against you, it's us against the problem. And so the grumpiness doesn't need to be there.
Yeah. I think about when we first got married, and I think we need to, as people in general, speak more about our struggles.
Sure.
Because I think it's very unifying to understand that, like, 18 years later, we got it mostly figured out. But when we were first married, We did not have it figured out. And one of the things that
Glad you think we got it figured out now.
mostly facts. But one of the things that we really struggled with when we first got married, because we were married early 2000s and we'd only been married a few years when the housing market of 2008 crashed, and we were both out of work for about a month. That was hard. And I remember some of those conversations about how are we going to make rent? How do we decide between food and the light bill? And those were some rough times, but I remember some of those conversations, and I don't remember what we had started talking about, but I remember the conversation that it's just money at the end of the day. We can figure out, we can make more. And in this moment, you're not the enemy. And I just remember that conversation and knowing I picked the right one.
Yeah, and I think that's a tough one that we don't remember often, is that our spouse is not the enemy in the issue.
Especially with finances.
Yeah. Well, when we first got married, we didn't have any money. It's hard to argue about money when there is none.
This is true. But also remembering, like, yes, decisions were made. And there was some times where, if I spent too much on groceries, or if the electric bill was more than we expected or something like that, we can't change the past. All we can do is come back together and move forward.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we have both made some dumb decisions. And I don't want to say it's just you or it's just me.
Mostly me. Okay.
It's us. But at the end of the day, like, we don't let finance. Really?
Yeah, because you buy craft stuff and I buy cars. Those are not the same thing.
Okay, maybe it is a little bit more heavy on your side, but I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day,
that is true. It is what it is, and there's what we can do about it. But if you buy too much Cricket vinyl, we just make more stuff. If I buy cars, then we have to sell those cars. This
is true. You're putting it all out there today. So, but no, I bring up finances because it's a really tough subject.
It is for everybody. It's required. It's necessary.
Yeah. And, I think where we've had a lot of success is we both have that understanding of, we talk about what we spend our money on. And have we talked about our rule yet?
Our rule? Roll.
So, what?
Rule, R-U-L-E,
yes.
Or roll, R-O?
Rule.
No, what rule?
Do
we need to have a whole show about our finance rules?
Maybe. I don't know. Do you guys need a show about finances? But no, we came up with a rule many, many moons ago of if we're spending other than groceries, that's kind of the caveat, is anything more than $100 we're going to discuss. And I think that has helped us a lot. So there are certain things that are unspoken. But yes, you do buy cars and you do enjoy working on them and all the things. Every time that you have purchased one, we've talked about. Yes. So I wanted to say that out loud.
So does that make all of my problems your problems? Because you said yes when I bought cars.
That's why I said it's a we thing.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe I need to not let you indulge so much.
This is our first show in a year, and it is wonderful.
The sarcasm is really built up.
Oh my goodness.
Have you posted anything about why we've been silent for the past year?
Not a
I'm
thing.
sorry. We have moved.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We've changed jobs. We've moved. Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 hours away from our old house and new jobs.
The wall is different.
Yeah. Yeah, the decor is set up differently.
It's still the same table.
Yes.
That's the same. But that usually happens when you move. You take your furniture with you.
Really?
No, actually, when we moved here, it was hard to find a house that didn't have furniture in it.
This is true. This is true.
This is very much a seasonal area. Anyway, say all that. I can't tell you all the details. I got a new job and we had to move. And so we are in a new place to live. It is wonderful. It's 75 and beautiful outside. And you work in our living room. So
I do.
I tell people when they were asking about us moving, they're like, what does your wife need to work? I said, my internet works where my wife is. It doesn't, because wherever my wife is, the internet is very slow. But I tell people my wife works where the internet's good. And so when people ask me, they're like, hey, where's your wife work? I'm like, my living room. And they look at me like
I work in the corner.
They don't understand like work from home is a regular part of life. And so they stare at me like, what do you mean your wife works in our living room? Like, oh, my wife has a job. She works in our living room. And I have to explain it because they're like, no, my wife's desk is in our living room.
And then they come over and they're like, oh,
Yes.
your wife works in the living room.
But we also, like, what everybody else would consider living room, we sit outside because we don't live in Ohio where it's 7 degrees.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's nice outside. Anyway, so we've moved. That's why we've not been around for a year. I know many of you that watch have asked. So have our friends and our family. They're like, do you still have a business? Yes, we still have a business. I guess that would be part of building a marriage that lasts, or the blog post, which you can go read right now, by the way. How to build a marriage that goes the distance. We had to put a lot of stuff off to the side in the last couple of months, and it was group discussions, right? We talked about this. We talk about some of this stuff with our kids. Obviously, our kids don't need to be part of deeper financial discussions. Mm-hmm. But we had gotten to a point where both of our businesses had to just sit off to the side for a little bit. And this is the day we finally decided we're both home. There's nothing else happening. We're not traveling. Well, I am. But we are not traveling anywhere as a group for a while. And so
Thank goodness.
Let's find the trunk with all the show stuff in it because it was buried in the garage. And so it's been a year since we posted, but we've been going through this process for
6 months,
several months. Yeah, 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Of having to work normal jobs and do stuff. Like we have normal jobs, right? I'm a pastor. She has a normal job. And for some of that, trying to pay bills and stuff, I went and got another normal job. So I had 2 normal jobs. And so we just had to put our fun stuff, right? We do this as a passion project off to the side. So that's where we've been for a while. But we had several discussions about it's not the right time, or our head's not going to be in it. And if our head's not in it, our heart's not going to be in it, and wanted to bring something useful in being in a good headspace to do that. And that was a group discussion because that's...
Oh, you also went back to school too.
Oh, I did. Yeah, that happened. And so for the last 8 months, I've been in school full time.
It's been, my goodness.
2 classes left.
I know. I'm so excited.
And they're not at the same time, so I have time to breathe.
Yeah. We've done a lot. This last year has been
Yes.
chaotic, to say the least.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh. But that goes back to trust, right?
Yeah.
We have to trust each other that when we make these decisions, we have to stick to them, right?
Yeah.
And that's been, trust is a bedrock. Keep your promises. Do what you're going to do. Be real, which is part of why we haven't posted in such a long time, is we had to focus on us, right? Our family and what we're doing. Because honesty can be difficult, but it's way better than being fake.
Oh, yeah.
Fake peace is not peace.
Well, I'd rather you be honest that you like or don't like something. And this is for the ladies out there. If you ask your husband if he likes something, please expect a real answer and don't be grumpy at him. Because I would much rather you... Swallow. Thank you. I don't want you to spit.
I'm working on it.
I would much rather you say the honest thing of, does this dress make me look a certain way? And you answer yes if it does.
There's a dude on TikTok that said that.
Because the other side of that is when I walk out feeling all in myself and you stop and say, I look beautiful, I do not want to question if that's authentic or not.
That's the gist of what the guy said. There was somebody was like, stop lying to your wife when she asks you if the dress makes her look fat. I'm like, yeah, tell her. Now, same thing. You can't be offended.
Yep.
Or whatever, because at the end, that means that when you do get the cat calls, I guess we'll call it. I don't know what we call it, but yeah. And we've had discussions, right? Of like, please don't wear that color lipstick anymore. Not that one, but just in general.
You did. You did.
I just don't like it. I would laugh because part of me thinks that when I'm not home, right, you're going to make soup and stew, all the things I don't like to eat, and you're going to wear lipstick I don't like, which is fine because I don't care. I'm not going to shave my face for 4 days either.
This is true. Context. I tried this like deep burgundy one, and I just tried it on because I wasn't sure about the color, and he looks at me and he's like, no. Please don't. I never wore it again. I think I got
Nothing
rid of
wrong with it. I just don't like it.
You just didn't like it. And that's fine. And again, I would rather you be honest with me than, think that I'm the bee's knees and someone else because, I have to walk out in public like this. I don't have to, but I do.
Nobody goes outside anymore. Anyway,
what were we talking about again? I feel like we veered way off.
we're fine. We're there. Discussions, having trust. And the next one would be respect, right? If I were building a house, trust is the cornerstone. Respect is the mortar in between the bricks. You can't love somebody you don't respect. And respect is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's tough. And I know, like, the name of the show is My Wife Still Likes Me. That's a difficult one. And I know it's a gray area because there are some people that we love. I don't want to say because we have to. And maybe it is because we have to. But in this relationship, specifically in the marriage relationship, you have to respect your spouse. Because if you don't respect them, how did you end up there anyway? But respect is about valuing who they are, not who you want them to be. Right? Who they are now, right?
Yeah.
Because we all have that stuff. There's stuff I do that you don't like, and there's stuff you do that I don't like, and whatever. And I hate crafting day. I just don't like it. I'm not a crafter, but arguably, and I'm going to get a lot of hate and probably lose my man card for that, our version of crafting is car parts. Because the same skill set within reason.
It's a hobby. It's not crafting.
Yes.
I know. But it's on that same wavelength of that is my time to decompress and create and do something that I really enjoy. Just like when you go out in the garage and work on the car, or whatever. So.
And some of this we've talked about in the past, but I like these ideas of just referencing other stuff. Supporting their dreams, even though they're different from your dreams.
Ooh.
Now, we have to have goals and direction as a couple, but that doesn't mean that has to be all that you do, right? You don't have any desire to be the lead pastor of a church.
No.
But I do.
Yeah.
You have other dreams and goals, and I support you in those. Now, we have couples goals and things that we want to do, but supporting their dreams, even though they're different from yours, listening to their perspective without shutting them down. And that, I personally am doing better at that one, but listening to their side of the story, and it doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but just listening, hear both sides.
Correct. And I will say questioning and asking questions, I think, is necessary because sometimes, as everybody does this, when you get super passionate about something, sometimes you leave out the details. And so, I want to add on to that it is okay to ask questions as long as you are not trying to shut it down. You're asking out of genuine questioning, concern, because you've had some thoughts about doing something And I tend to go more of the financial aspect of like, okay, what is this going to cost? How are we going to get there? Things of that nature. And so I do want to say that out loud, that it's okay. And as long as you have that trust already built up, when I come to you and say, okay, you want to go on a cruise next year. Okay, how long is it? Because between the two of us, we need to know how much PTO we have. How much is it going to cost? How are we going to get there? Because we live in the middle of the desert. So I think that goes for both sides of trusting that your spouse is asking these questions to seek understanding, not to tear you down. But on the other side of that is, if you are going to ask questions, you need to do it from a place of trying to understand rather than ripping you down, because you could just as easily tear down your relationship. You want to go on a cruise? You want to spend our hard-earned money to get on a boat? So just making sure that when you're having these conversations, that it is out of the right place.
Sure. I'm laughing because we both like cruises.
I know.
Like, what?
But if we're going to use that comment. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I'm with you. There has to be the respect, right? Without the resentment of, oh, he's just going to do this. Oh, he's just going to do that. All right. Trying to stick to our time limit. We're going to make this a 2-episode discussion.
Apparently.
Because we're only halfway through my notes.
It's been a good discussion, though.
It has been. So to hear the rest of this, you're going to have to come back and watch next week. If you really, really wanted to get ahead, you can read the whole thing right now on our website at mywifestilllikesme.com. All one word squished together. It's weird. It looks funny. More importantly, we are not mental health professionals. We are taking a candid look at real life issues that we have faced and that you guys have asked us about. So if you need professional help, we are not it. Please go find professional help.
It's okay to not be okay.
We do. If you ask us, we'll set up a Symbis assessment and walk through that architecture with you that save your marriage before it starts. You can email us or click connect on our website, and we will do a discovery call with you to see if that is something worth pursuing. But we are not therapists, not even a little bit. Anyway, subscribe, let us know what you want to talk about, and we will see you next time. For us, it's going to be in 5 minutes, but we'll see you in a week, and we'll talk about the rest of it. See ya.